Estimados amigos, celebramos el 75º aniversario de las Naciones Unidas en medio de una pandemia mundial. Nuestra misión fundacional es ahora más importante que nunca, para promover la dignidad humana, para proteger los derechos humanos, para garantizar el respeto del derecho internacional y salvar a la humanidad de la guerra. Al inicio de la pandemia hice un llamamiento a un alto el fuego mundial. En el mundo actual todos tenemos un enemigo común, el COVID-19. Ahora es el momento de dar un mayor impulso a la paz y lograr un alto el fuego mundial. El tiempo apremia. También debemos hacer las paces con nuestro planeta. La emergencia climática amenaza la vida misma. Debemos movilizar a todo el mundo para alcanzar la neutralidad de carbono, es decir, emisiones netas cero de gases de efecto invernadero para el año 2050. Un número creciente de países, ciudades y empresas ya se han comprometido a cumplir este objetivo. Debemos hacer más en todo el mundo para poner fin al sufrimiento humano causado por la pobreza, las desigualdades, el hambre y el odio, y luchar contra la discriminación por motivos de raza, religión, género o cualquier otra distinción. Durante los meses de la pandemia se ha producido un terrible aumento de la violencia contra las mujeres y las niñas. Debemos aprovechar los logros alcanzados. Se está colaborando de manera extraordinaria a nivel mundial para conseguir una vacuna contra el COVID-19 segura, asequible y accesible para todos. Los Objetivos de Desarrollo Sostenible nos ofrecen un modelo inspirador para recuperarnos mejor. Nos enfrentamos a enormes desafíos. Gracias a la solidaridad y la cooperación mundiales podremos superarlos. Ese es el sentido de las Naciones Unidas. En este aniversario pido a todas las personas que se unan. Las Naciones Unidas no solo están con ustedes. Como dice la Carta de las Naciones Unidas, nosotros, los pueblos, las personas somos la base y el corazón de la ONU. Defendamos juntos sus valores perdurables. Aprovechemos los logros alcanzados a lo largo de décadas. Hagamos realidad nuestra visión común de un mundo mejor para todas las personas.
We cannot forget the untold destruction that has been wrought, nor can we forget how close our whole civilization has come to utter ruin. It is our supreme responsibility at this conference and afterwards to see to it that this calamity never again falls upon the world.
Alright, that's all well and dandy, but what does it do, exactly? Is it some kind of attempt at a one-world government, or something like that? Not exactly. Perhaps the best way of seeing the UN is as a kind of international forum, where international laws can be passed, international disputes and issues brought into the light for the community at large to weigh in on, and violations of international law be efficiently dealt with. The main responsibilities of the UN are not to govern the world like the US governs its states, or even like the EU governs its constituent countries, but to form some sort of international framework to tackle international issues, those including everything from wars and deadly conflicts, to climate change, to food production, to sustainable development, even to the current coronavirus pandemic. The UN's organization is split up into 6 different principal organs: the Security Council, the General Assembly, the Economic and Social Council, the Trusteeship Council, the International Court of Justice, and the UN Secretariat.
The first is the General Assembly, which includes nearly all internationally recognized countries, making up 193 member states. The Assembly meets annually in September and debates issues on security and diplomacy.
Basically, whenever you see speeches and debates from that huge gold and brown room with all the nations put together, yeah, that is the General Assembly.
Within the General Assembly, resolutions relating to defense, as well as administrative issues like new membership and budget, require a 2/3 vote. Most other issues only need a majority. Every country, regardless of size, gets a single vote. However, there are 2 states in the UN which are not actual members: the Vatican, whose government is called the Holy See, and Palestine. These are called permanent non-member observer states, and while they can't vote, they are allowed to take part in debates. The second arm of the UN is the Security Council. It exists to prevent conflict on a large scale, promoting peace through diplomacy or sanctions. It only has 5 permanent members: Russia, France, China, the UK, and the US, which were all winning powers in World War II. The permanent members have veto power, and their use has been incredibly controversial.
El poder de veto implica que si alguno de estos 5 países vota en contra de una medida o documento, este queda automáticamente rechazado.
There are 10 more members representing Africa, Asia, Eastern Europe, Latin America, and Western Europe. Those 10 are elected on a rolling basis every 2 years to make sure that major world regions have representation. The Security Council's resolutions are carried out by the UN's peacekeeping force, which boasts about 100,000 soldiers.
Una de las particularidades del Consejo de Seguridad es que las resoluciones que publica son vinculantes, a diferencia de lo que sucede con el resto de los órganos. Es decir, los países están legalmente obligados a cumplir las resoluciones del Consejo de Seguridad, a diferencia de lo que sucede con los otros órganos.
While the Security Council holds veto power over bills and prospective new members, it is the General Assembly which votes these motions into being, along with budgets, suggestions to the Security Council, and new Secretaries General. The current Secretary General is Portugal's Antonio Guterres, which basically leads the United Nations as an organization. Basically, think of the General Assembly and the Security Council as kind of a legislative branch, and thus the Secretariat as the executive branch. You can also think of the International Court of Justice as a kind of judicial branch, as it deals with international laws and disputes between its members.
One of the most important parts of the UN is the Economic and Social Council, which works to improve standards of living and promote human rights. Most of what the UN actually does is centered around helping developing countries. The Council works with specialized agencies like the World Health Organization and High Commission for Refugees to make that happen.
El ECOSOC está compuesto por 54 Estados miembros, elegidos por la Asamblea General por periodos de 3 años.
The fifth arm of the UN is actually not operational. The Trusteeship Council was created in the 1940s to help developing territories and dependencies become independent countries. The Council was suspended in 1994 after helping more than 70 countries gain independence.
Para cumplir con los objetivos de la organización, se ha conformado el Sistema de las Naciones Unidas, que está formado por la propia organización y numerosas organizaciones afiliadas. Algunas de estas son independientes, otras responden a la Asamblea General, al Consejo de Seguridad o al Consejo Económico y Social.
Some of the most notable including the Food and Agriculture Organization, the International Civil Aviation Organization, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, the International Labor Organization, the International Maritime Organization, International Monetary Fund, International Telecommunication Union, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, the World Health Organization, Universal Postal Union, and the World Bank Group. as well as other similar organizations like the World Trade Organization. These organizations all have important jobs in coordinating particular things nations have to do together. For example, the FAO leads international efforts to end world hunger, among many other things. The ICAO regulates how airports work, so planes can actually land there without any sort of drama, among others. The IMF fosters global monetary cooperation for a stable economy, as with a lot of other things. And UNESCO is perhaps most famous for their World Heritage Sites, but they're mainly there to lead global cooperation through science and cultural education, as well as a lot of other stuff.
The United Nations General Assembly was the scene of a celebration in 2015, when 193 member countries adopted the Sustainable Development Goals, a unanimous commitment to end poverty, fight inequality, and tackle climate change.
We need action from everyone, everywhere. 17 Sustainable Development Goals are our guide. They are a to-do list for people and planet, and the blueprint for success.
The SDGs are an agenda to balance human prosperity with protecting the planet.
Imagine there's no countries.
UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador Shakira asked global leaders to imagine a world where we achieve the goals by 2030. While fellow UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador Angelique Kidjo underscored a focus on Africa and developing countries. But the universal agenda is important to all nations, as leaders from developed countries also pledged to make the goals a reality.
Poverty, growing inequality exists in all of our nations, and all of our nations have work to do, and that includes here in the United States. And that's why today I am committing the United States to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals.
The Sustainable Development Goals build on the success of another 15-year plan. Created in the year 2000, the Millennium Development Goals sunset at the end of 2015. The MDGs halved extreme poverty, achieved equal primary education for girls and boys, and dropped HIV infection by 40%, among many successes. The SDGs go beyond the MDGs by improving the lives of everyone, everywhere, and create a better world for future generations.
Today, we are 193 young people representing billions more.
The youngest Nobel Peace Laureate, Malala, calls on world leaders to keep their promise to every child.
Each lantern we hold represents the hope we have for our future because of the commitments you have made to the global goals.
And Pope Francis advised world leaders to put humanity and the environment over politics.
Los gobernantes han de hacer todo lo posible a fin de que todos puedan tener la mínima base material y espiritual para ejercer su dignidad y para formar y mantener una familia.
193 nations unanimously committed to the Sustainable Development Goals.
It is so decided.
But the journey starts here. Now's the time to take global action for local results and move our people and planet towards a sustainable future.
Did you know that the UN Sustainable Development Goals are a universal call to action that unites 193 countries around the world? If these global goals are fulfilled by 2030, life on Earth will be better for everyone. So, what are these goals? Eliminate poverty in all its forms. No hunger. Everyone should have safe, nutritious, and sufficient food. Everyone has equal access to healthcare, thus ensuring our well-being and a healthy life. Equal access to a quality education. Ensure gender equality where women and girls have the same opportunities as men and boys. By achieving these goals, each member of our society will be equal, safe, and happy. UN global goals also include access to safe drinking water and sanitation, access to clean energy that is safe for people and the environment, sustainable and stable economic growth, everyone has a decent job, strong infrastructure, and the support of innovations. Lower inequality within and among countries. Cities and settlements be developed without damaging the environment and people. Achieving these goals will result in the well-being of people and our planet. We can further take care of our environment with the following goals: sustainable and safe production and consumption of products. Take urgent measures to reduce climate change and its impact. Ensure the sustainable use and protection of ocean and sea resources. Restore and protect Earth's ecosystems. By achieving these goals, we will form a society where strong institutions ensure peace and justice. It is important for everyone to be involved and to build partnerships for achieving sustainable development goals. You are part of this process. Demand the implementation of these goals. Take the lead and share information with your friends.